This is not a good sign. We are continuing to get more and more news on NFL free agency with the Miami Dolphins. Some of the players that they've signed, contract details are emerging. And one specific contract details that came out caught my eye and a lot of people's eye on Dolphins Twitter. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And it all has to do with this man right here. Liam Eichenberg. We know how bad he's been throughout his Miami Dolphins career after being a second-round pick, and we all were very annoyed and frustrated when it was announced that Liam Eichenberg re-signed with the Dolphins in free agency on a one-year deal because we thought we were finally done with Liam Eichenberg. We didn't have to deal with him anymore. Obviously not the case, but the reason why I'm talking about Liam Eichenberg today is because a couple days ago it was revealed that the one-year deal he signed with the Dolphins in free agency was $2.2 million. Not a lot, but fully guaranteed. That is the important part to look at here, because if you get a fully guaranteed contract, well, you're going to be on the roster and you are absolutely going to be having a role on this Dolphins football team. Not a fan of the contract whatsoever. We'll talk about everything and more on today's show. But make sure you are following us over on Instagram. We currently have 778 followers. That's the handle right there, Dolphin Today IG. We put out more content outside of our YouTube videos over our IG. So go give us a follow right now. Let's get to 1,000 followers because we have something planned when we get to 1,000 followers. We've got 200 to get there. But getting back to Liam Eichenberg, he's on the roster again. And when the signing initially happened and I had my instant reaction to him returning to the Dolphins on a one-year deal, I was hoping, I was anticipating that it was going to be a cheap one-year deal, but that he was not guaranteed to be on the roster. And he's like, all right, Liam, we'll bring you back, but you have to compete for your role, even if it is just a spot on the reserve list, not an actual starter. But with that contract, you have to wonder, how big of a role will he have on this Dolphins offensive line? Will he be the primary backup interior offensive lineman to James Daniels, Aaron Brewer, and whoever you fill the left guard spot with in terms of you being a rookie or a free agent that is still out there, like a Will Hernandez or a Brandon Scherf? Or is that $2.2 million guaranteed good enough to potentially have Liam Eichenberg be the starting left guard on this Dolphins offensive line, which I know would drive everybody absolutely insane? And I'm wondering here, as we know Chris Grier has neglected the offensive line over the past couple of seasons in Miami, if he could be doing one of the stupidest things I have ever seen and have Eichenberg be a half starter at left guard. And what do I mean by half starter? But could he just draft one in the second, in the third, fourth round and have them compete with Eichenberg for the left guard starting spot and say, well, if the rookie doesn't feel good enough to start, or at least in Coach Mike McDaniel's eye, then we could just have Eichenberg start there because he's at least known this offense and been in this offense since it's been put in place with McDaniel in 2022. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, Eichenberg simply just is not very good. Like, you look at his career PFF grades in 2024, 23, 22, 21, since he's been in the league, it's been absolutely abysmal. He also commits a gazillion penalties a day. Look at, like, he has not even ever been graded out. And I know Pro Football Focus isn't the end-all be-all, but it is a really good metric for evaluating offensive line play because simply just no one else does it. But the fact that he's never been graded out as a 60 in anything. The closest he's ever been is this past year as a run blocker at 58.7. How is it possible that he is that bad in terms of playing on the offensive line? Like, he clearly just isn't a starter, so why is he still being brought back to this roster? It makes absolutely no sense. And let me know your thoughts. Is it being a starter or is it a depth piece? Or am I overreacting? That's basically what I'm saying here. Am I overreacting to Liam Eichenberg right now? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think he will be the starting left guard when we get to football time in September? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Well, I wanted to showcase this too because this is pretty bad to look at. This is the struggles. I mean, it's truly unbelievable. I'm looking PFF overall grade in the left, the penalties he's committed looking at the right. Look at his ranks. Just don't look at the actual numbers. Look at the ranks. 106 of 135, 125 of 135, 51 of 56, 49 of 56, 127, 140, 112, 140, 133, 142. Like, he has legitimately been the worst if not one of the worst, offensive linemen in football since he's entered the league. He has not ranked outside of the bottom 30 offensive linemen at his position every year of his career. It's actually hard to fathom that he's been that consistently bad, yet the Dolphins consistently play him. And I know a couple years ago it wasn't by design. He only got snaps at center because Connor Williams went down with an injury halfway through the year. But they had him start all of this past season, basically until the end, where they rotated him and out with Isaiah Wynn. They had him be a starter when he got drafted, which makes sense. And they gave him another shot in 2022. But then they benched him in 23. But then they brought him back at 24 to be a starter. And then he's back again on the roster in 2025. I just simply don't know how you can justify giving him another chance to be a starter. And maybe they won't. Maybe this is just pure depth and the versatility he provides they like. But I have a weird feeling, because it's fully guaranteed at $2.2 million, that he's going to have a larger role than Dolphins fans want him to have this season, and that is unbelievable to me. It really is. All right, we have a sponsor to tell you about. That is House of Atlas. I'm glad they're coming on board because I absolutely love them. It's a shaving company. They gifted us one of their razors, and honestly, I've been blown away. Not only does it look insanely sleek sitting in my bathroom, but it gives me an incredibly close shave. It feels weird to gush over a lineup of shaving products, but truly, House of Atlas makes some one-of-a-kind stuff. Not to mention, their products are all designed to look like they should have their own tech reveal. The blade head has 5 US-made stainless steel blades that glide right through my facial hair. It has a high-performance serum strip that's infused with ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and shea butter, which reduces irritation and helps prevent ingrown hair. Got a couple of their items with me in studio, one of them being their razor. I'm telling you, this thing is awesome. It makes me completely look good up here. You know how it has to be. I also got the shaving cream here too. It is truly my new favorite brand. And for now, for a limited time, they're offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the Precision Shave Cream and Calming Aftershave. Use code CHAT at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code CHAT for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I did. All right, when we get back to Liam Eichenberg here, the only positive that you can say about Liam is that he can play all 5 spots on the offensive line, and he does know Mike McDaniel's system. And I do want to make that a little bit clear here. It is difficult to pick up McDaniel's system. Think about all the intricacies that go into it. The cheat motion, where you have a million people in motion, and some of them get a little bit of a running start. And then you have to be able to be athletic to pull, and the zone scheme that we talk so much about offensive line. So it is hard to pick that up as an offensive lineman. And it is also hard to be able to play every single position on the offensive line, which is why maybe Liam isn't very good, is because he gets bounced around by year. As a rookie, he was a left tackle, then he went to left guard, then 2 years ago was center, last year was right guard. He is versatile, which is good. The only position he hasn't consistently played is right tackle, which is fine by me. We have Austin Jackson there now. But the point remains, it is at least beneficial to some certain degree that you have an offensive lineman that can play every spot. And we know Chris Grier values versatility. It's why they signed Isaiah Wynn a couple of years ago. It's why they re-signed him last year, even though he was coming back from injury. Now, he still sits out there in free agency right now. Wonder if they could have a reunion on a really cheap contract. I'd have rather brought back Isaiah Wynn than Liam Eichenberg. That's for damn sure. But the versatility Liam provides is something that you can't overlook, even though he's not very good at those certain positions. All right, make sure you are subscribed. We'll start plugging it now. We're officially under a month away from the NFL draft. Think about that. Yeah, it starts April 24th. It's March 24th today. How about that? We'll have you covered on everything you need surrounding the Dolphins and the NFL draft, so hit that sub button. But talking about the left guard spot, I clearly do not want Liam Eichenberg to be the starter. I think that's incompetence if you do have him be your starter. But the reason why the way I'd go about this, let's say, the rest of the offseason is signing a veteran. I know the Dolphins are cap strapped and they don't really have that much to work with, and the good free agent offensive linemen are pretty much all off the board. But there are 4 names that I think would be better starters than Liam Eichenberg, and 2 of them I think are pretty high profile, if you will. One of them being Brandon Scherff. We've talked about him quite a bit. The former Jacksonville Jaguar, I think, could be signed for 1 year, $6-7 million. He intrigues me. Will Hernandez is another option that I think would fit in Miami quite well. Dalton Risner and Shaq Mason are another pair of veteran options. Shaq Mason has been really bad over the past couple of years. Not Liam Eichenberg bad, but he's had struggles, but a former top starter in the league. And Risner has been okay throughout his career, but you can see him tailing off a little bit as well. To me, this is the easiest option here. It's Brandon Scherff. Sign the veteran. He played in all 17 games last season, didn't allow a sack. I think he would be able to fit for this Miami Dolphins system pretty well at left guard, and he just provides you stability. Because also, something underrated when talking about this offensive line is that Patrick Paul is going to be your left tackle, and he played in 3 games last season, and he's basically going to be a full-time starter in the NFL for the first time. So I'd like some veteran leadership at left guard and not a rookie, because if you get a rookie at left guard and Patrick Paul at left tackle, that could get dicey. The center and the right side of your offensive line is set, but you get Scherff at left guard. That stabilizes Patrick Paul. It also gives you a good stopgap option to where then you can draft an offensive lineman in the NFL draft still, but not depend on them to be a starter right away. And you'd have versatility with them coming off of the bench potentially. And some of the draft targets, not all of them have to be in the first round. Now, Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks would have to be first rounders unless the Dolphins trade back up into the first round to take a Kelvin Banks or something like that. But other names that we should mention, Tyler Booker, I don't think he's the best fit, but I do think he is someone that is going to be mentioned as the top offensive guard is a pure level. You also got Gray Zabel, Tate Ratledge. A name that I think we should start keeping our eye on is Jonah Savainea from Arizona. I think him at pick 48 could be a really good move for the Dolphins. Same thing, go for Wyatt Mullum from West Virginia, maybe Marcus Mabau from Purdue, and the sleeper guy, maybe in the 3rd round, Charles Grant from William and Mary. All right, how would you guys address the offensive line? Take Chris Grier's spot. How would you do it? Would you sign one of the free agents like Will Hernandez or Brandon Scherff, or would you plan on drafting one in the 1st or 2nd round and have them be the projected starter for the Dolphins? Type draft or type free agency. One thing is apparent and one thing is abundantly clear. You cannot have Liam Eichenberg be your starting left guard for the Miami Dolphins in 2025. It would be a disservice to Tua Tagovailoa. It'd be a disservice to your entire football team. It'd be a disservice to the fans who consistently watch this football team on a weekly basis. Eichenberg has gotten 4 separate chances to be a starter at right guard, at center, left guard, left tackle. He's failed at every single spot. Let's not try to be an insane person here. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If you trot Liam Eichenberg out there as your starting left guard and expect him to finally be an average to above average guard in the NFL, you are an insane person. Which you could argue Chris Grier might be insane, by the way, in what he's done over the past couple of years. But you cannot have Liam Eichenberg be your starting left guard. That is a disservice to your organization and football team. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Dolphins Today. We'll have another one out later today, so make sure you hit that sub button because we're putting out content on the daily, sometimes 2 videos a day. And when breaking news happens as well, we drop everything to have it covered, so make sure you join the channel.